Hi everyone, thanks for coming back. Today I am joining Heidi Sonboul again in another DIY playlist that she's created. She's so extremely talented and so extremely generous that she is making another playlist for coastal or summer themed DIYs. So I did a few coastal DIYs. I have no idea what I'm doing. I've never actually even bought a coastal themed anything. So I was actually pretty excited to do this. I hope you enjoy. Have a great day. Oh, and if you haven't seen any of her videos, I will link the description down below. Check her out. She's awesome. So for project number 1, I used this circular frame on a stand from the Dollar Tree and wooden craft sticks. I started by removing the picture from the frame. I then stained the wood with Minwax wood stain in the color Early American. Next, I put 12 craft sticks on this cutting mat. I measured 1 inch in size on both ends of the stick and cut them down to size. I apologize for being off camera, but you know how to use scissors, I hope. Next, I laid them out and glued them all together in groups of 3. Quick tip, clothespins work great as mini clamps. I sanded the edges down where they were a little off and I stained them. I am so sorry, but I guess my camera died while filming because I have 0 footage of me actually gluing the pieces to the frame, but it's pretty self-explanatory. I literally just hot glued the craft sticks to the edges of the frame. So next I took this white cord. I believe I got it at Walmart, but I'm not positive. I wrapped it around the 4 places on the wheel and I hot glued it in place. I apologize again for not being on camera. I am trying out different placements for the camera and it's hard to stay in place sometimes. I then continued to glue it around the stand. I didn't have a tiny picture ready of my own family, so for the purposes of this video, this picture is now my family. Finally, I added this cute and tiny little shell from one of the packages from Dollar Tree, and this is how it turned out. For project number 2, I took these tea light candle holders from Dollar Tree and spray painted the top and the base with white paint. Next, I cut a paper towel roll insert to size and I hot glued it around the stem of the holder. Next, I took seashells that I bought in packages at the Dollar Tree and I glued them around the candle holder starting at the top. I overlapped each row of shells about halfway. On the bottom layer, I added some additional hot glue behind the shells to add some extra support. I added a Dollar Tree tea light candle, and here's how it turned out. For project number 3, I started with 4 of these back scratchers from Dollar Tree. I sawed off the scratcher end of the stick, sanded the ends, and then I put wood filler in the little hanging hole. I then measured and I sawed each stick into 3 individual pieces. So I was going to use this floral foam, but my daughter saw it and immediately stuck her fingers in it. So I got a square one that I had on hand and I just cut it to size using the top of a mason jar lid. I picked up one of these foam wreath forms from Dollar Tree and I removed the sticker. I took the small middle pieces of the back scratcher and lined them up how I wanted. Then I removed the sticks except for one and I marked the wreath where the other side would go. To make the hole in the wreath, I used a pair of pliers, and that actually worked out really perfectly. And yes, if you did notice, there is a bite mark from one of my children. It adds character. I then inserted all the sticks into each of the foam pieces to form a wheel, and I hot glued it in place. On this project, I made a lot of modifications as I went, so because the middle was foam, I didn't want to just leave it, and I had some spackle sitting there, so I decided to cover the top with spackle to give it a little more of a textured look. And then took another paper towel insert and made a circle. Next, I used one of the end pieces of the back scratcher to line up and make indentations in the other side of the wreath form so that I could see and make holes like I did in the inner circle. I then went in with the pliers and I did the same thing, kind of making a little more of an indentation so that there is more room. These wreath forms are really tough, so putting a little hole to give it a little give, it worked out really well. And then I hot glued them in place. I then went over all the pieces that are supposed to mimic wood or are wood, and I painted them with brown acrylic paint. Over the circular part, I dry brushed some Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral to kind of give it more of a textured wood look. I then painted the center with the Folk Art brushed metal paints in both brushed dark gray and brushed silver, and it just gave it that perfect metal looking touch. If you haven't tried these paints, they are from Michaels and they're awesome. They're really cool. Next, I went around all the pieces and distressed them. Next, I took some nautical rope from Dollar Tree and I wrapped it around the 4 areas, typical areas on a steering wheel. This piece still looked too plain when I was finished painting it, so I had this boxwood pick from Walmart and I decided to add some greenery to the wheel. And lastly, I had these 3 shells that my husband actually brought home from the actual beach in Florida, and I decided to glue those on, and this is how it turned out. I hope you enjoyed my attempt at some coastal themed decor. The biggest compliment you can give is a thumbs up, and if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified of my future videos. Special shout out to Dawn Cott and Marcia Straub for subscribing, and have a lovely day, everyone.